How is it going today? Loyalist Kingdom. My name's Dwayne.
My name's Jazz.
We're Dwayne and Jazz. Today we have three disturbing true summer camp horror stories. Why am I talking like that? About Mr. Nightmare.
Like Star Trek?
Yeah. If you guys have any reaction requests, please follow us on all our social media and the link is below. And don't forget to
subscribe.
Let's dive on in.
3 true disturbing summer camp horror
stories. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Large jerk.
M Ferrari and then.
Oh, I guess these are usernames.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what? Don't worry about my finger, y'all. Just cut it.
Yeah.
So enough people are
I went to a summer camp called Camp Ernst that my parents signed me up for.
Camp
Thankfully,
Ernst
it was with my
sounds
best
scary.
friend Keith, so I wouldn't be going there not knowing anyone. The camp was for 2 weeks, and it was the typical
hell.
setting you'd expect to see in those old
Not for
summer
2
camp
weeks.
horror movies like Sleepaway Camp. There were 2 big cabins where the girls and boys slept respectively. There was also a big
Separate.
lodge-type building with an activity center, dining hall, and other amenities, and then various other smaller buildings scattered throughout the camp. Keith and I stayed up later than all the other kids because we wanted to play on our Nintendo DS's together.
Oh, that's recent then. It's not old.
It was
Yeah.
reaching the deep hours of the night, past 2 a.m.
No, the
We
DS
were
been
still
out for a
playing
bit.
DS together. That's when
Yeah.
the door to the cabin opens. Panicking, we both threw our DS's under the pillows and pretended to be asleep. Footsteps moved around the room, from Keith's bed over to my bed. Then the footsteps stopped at my bed, and for a short moment, I felt the ever so soft feeling of someone breathing down my neck. Then the footsteps moved away from my bed and back to the door, before
I
the
want
door
you.
shut.
Right.
I
Said,
looked
nah, I
over
don't want
to
his
Keith
friend.
and said, "That was scary. Especially since whoever that was breathing down my neck."
Did you see who
We
it was?
went back
Pete?
to playing on our DS's.
You went
That's when I got a
back.
text message
No,
on my
like,
phone.
No.
Which read, "Why are you two still up?" Those of us who had cell phones were given a list of phone numbers of the camp counselors who we should call if something were to happen. But that number didn't belong to any of the counselors. Not that I knew of, at least.
So it was
I
somebody
texted
else.
back saying, "Who is this?" They never responded, though. I told Keith, who didn't have a cell phone, and he was just as freaked out as I was. Obviously,
How'd
it
they
had
get
to
your
be a
phone number?
counselor. Or so we thought. So we went back to playing on our DS's with the screen brightness all the way down. We both heard the back door to the cabin open. We looked at each other and once again threw our DS's under the pillows. There were no more footsteps, though. Suddenly my phone vibrated. It was another text message from the same number. It said, "It's Counselor Tony. Come outside to the back of the cabin. I have something to say to you." I told Keith, and he said it sounded way too suspicious. Then we both wondered if whoever this Tony person was the one who just opened the back door. I got off the bed and took a few steps to the center of the room, where I could get a view down the hall to the back door. There was no one in sight, so I walked down the hall a little bit. Keith didn't approve. When I got closer to the back screen door of the cabin, I realized there was a little section of wall that caved in, and in that little opening, there was someone hiding.
Oh,
I got a little closer.
Time to run.
I realized it was not a camp counselor.
time to run.
But some really old, creepy-looking man who was about the same height as me. I ran back to my bed screaming help, waking everybody up.
Good.
It was at that moment that I heard the back door slam shut. A camp counselor came rushing inside through the front door, and I told everybody what just happened. The counselors went around the whole campsite, searching the
Didn't
perimeter
I better
for
have a
anyone
weapon.
matching the description I gave. It was a big place surrounded by forest, though. It would be impossible to find someone. What still doesn't make sense to me is how that man got my phone
That's what
number.
I'm saying. How did he get
My
it?
best guess would be he somehow found a list of phone numbers that the counselors had made.
Or he killed
How
someone.
did he know who I was?
Right. I'd be
I still
scared.
dream
Right.
about this experience.
Like
every
he
now and
knew.
then.
Not only did he know your phone number, he knew
knew
who that phone
the
number
number
belonged to.
too.
Like he added a face to it, and that's why he stood on top of you. Like how does he know that? That's somebody
I
that
was
stalks you
just
from home.
13.
Yeah.
It was my
So-
first and last year at a teenager summer camp, which was basically a traditional summer camp for teens aged 13 to 16. The place had some history, though. An old woman who worked on the grounds died from reasons not disclosed to the public.
Oh boy.
The old woman was one of the former cafeteria workers, Miss Graham.
She gonna haunt y'all.
Well, I'll keep this short. It was one of those nights that my brain just hated me and was basically telling me, you're not getting any sleep tonight. I was
That's us
rolling
every
from
day.
side to side in an uncomfortable cot as everyone else was fast asleep. The full moon made for a bright night. Beams of light literally poured into the room from every window. I was so far from tired that I just felt defeated. I sat up and rubbed my eyes, and when I opened them again, I noticed the light from the window straight across from me was blocked by something.
A
Oh,
I
person.
gasped when I saw what was blocking the light.
the old
It
lady.
was a person's head.
Yep.
It looked like an older woman with a red cap on. What the hell is this lady doing? I thought to myself. It didn't really hit me hard until I realized the woman was looking right at me.
She's coming to cook him. She's
like
the cafeteria
her eyes
lady.
were locked onto mine.
So that's
When
what
I
it
saw
is.
this, I flipped on my side and pretended to be asleep. Or maybe I just wanted to hide under the covers like a baby. I gave it a minute before I dared look back at the window. She was gone. I breathed a sigh of relief. The room seemed darker now, though. Something wasn't right. I looked up to the window right above my cot, and 3 feet away from me at most, there was the same older woman in a red cap, looking straight down at me. Once again, I covered myself with the blankets and cowered in fear. I don't know how long I stayed like that before I actually fell asleep, because the next thing I remember is going to one of the adults running the camp and telling them about the woman with the red cap. He looked at the 2 women who were also in his office, and they looked back at him with disturbed faces.
Oh, so y'all know about it.
One of the women said,
Okay.
"That's so creepy. That sounds exactly like Miss Graham." As she said that, my heart skipped a beat. To this day, I don't know if what I saw at that window was a real person,
Okay.
if it was in my head, or if by some off chance, maybe it was Miss Graham out there.
So I blame the counselors for that one.
They said-
because they know
They
about
both,
this.
you know, the scary movies when they look at each other and they know what's up.
They're
They're
like, oh,
At
he
the
found
time, I
out.
went
Like,
to
Right.
sleepaway camp in Pennsylvania.
why would y'all take us there?
I was a little kid at the time, and I was very shy. Meeting all the other kids at the orientation on the first day was a scary experience for me. I'd rather be home playing Super Nintendo or something.
Yeah.
Some of the other kids made friends pretty quickly. I thought I wasn't going to make any friends, but luckily some really outgoing kids started talking to me early on.
Aw.
I can't for the life of me remember his name though, so I'll call him Mike. Mike was a short blonde kid who always wore a Yankees hat. I thought he was the coolest kid at the time, but looking back now, I realize he's probably one of those kids who turned into a punk troublemaker in high school.
Well, leather
We
jacket.
explored the campgrounds the
Right.
first day. Mike and I picked up on a lone bunk building that looked like it had been abandoned and unused for years. We asked one of the counselors what happened. He said he had no idea. It was his first week working there. All he knew was that it hadn't been used for years.
Mm.
On the last night of camp, we were in our bunks. Everyone was getting ready to go to sleep. Mike came up to me and whispered something in my ear. He wanted to sneak over to that abandoned bunk just for the fun of it and see what's inside. I wanted to seem cool to Mike since I, for whatever reason, looked up to him, so I agreed. When everyone was asleep, we went outside and kept close to the bunk. We waited until the lights in the counselors' bunks were out, which wasn't long since it was already late. Then we ran down the pavement leading through the counselors' bunks towards the abandoned bunk
This is
building.
your fault. This whole story.
My heart was
It's
racing
your
the whole
fault.
time. I wasn't built to be doing mischievous things like this, not at that age at least. Mike led the way until we were by the door of the abandoned bunk. The front door was boarded up, which is one of the reasons why it caught our attention initially anyway. So we had to go through one of the windows, which, wouldn't you know it, there was one that was completely busted open already. We climbed into the abandoned bunk. Now these buildings were pretty big. They weren't little shacks like you might be picturing. Each bunk had room for at least 10 campers.
Mm.
This one was no exception.
Mm-mm.
Mike and I stood in the dark bunk.
Look at the
It was
bed.
kind of
like,
cold
look
in
at
there.
it.
We had our arms out in front of us to make sure we didn't walk into anything. I walked into a bunk bed numerous times, and I heard Mike doing the same. I stopped to listen to what Mike was doing, and I heard bouncing on one of the beds.
He playing. He's playing
That's
around.
not him.
Shh, stop messing around, I told him. I assumed he was hopping up and down on one of the old bunk beds.
That's not him.
But Mike's voice came from the complete opposite side of the room. As I remember, he said, "That's not me. I thought that was you." We had nothing to use as a light source, so we were in a pitch black room in a building that hadn't been used for years. And all we heard was the sound of someone bouncing up and down on a squeaky mattress.
And they're still going, even though.
Needless to say, we freaked out and ran for the window we entered from. It was tiny though, so it took a while to get out. While I was waiting for Mike to get out, the bouncing sound stopped. And there was a loud thump sound.
He coming to get
Whoever
you.
was bouncing on that bed
He's coming
must have
to get
jumped
you.
off. I jumped up to the window, and as I crawled through, I felt two hands grab onto my foot and try to pull me back.
Oh!
But I was already out the window. We ran back to our bunk and locked the door.
Oh
We contemplated
no,
running
that
to
sounds
the
like
head
it.
counselor's bunk to tell them, but we figured we didn't want to get in trouble.
See, I
Yes,
didn't tell
looking back,
anyone.
that was a stupid decision. But we got through the night okay and went home the next day, living to tell the story another day.
Man, I don't think so. See, I don't like camping. I don't like camping.
You try to make us go camping one time.
When?
You like, you want to go? Can you do something adventurous? You want to go camping?
When have I ever in life said
You like,
that?
let's go
When have
campfire.
I volunteered?
We have go
To
campfire.
go camping.
Go get a campfire and have like marshmallows and s'mores and talk about ghost stories by the campfire.
No,
I mean,
I said I wanted to do s'mores. I don't have to go camping to have s'mores. We could just get it.
anyway,
We can
guys.
build a fire in the backyard. Get some logs. Get some clean sticks, because I'm not going to eat off of a dirty branch. Get some clean sticks, like kebab sticks. Put it on the fire and make some s'mores. I don't want to go camping. I already experienced it. I don't want to.
Anyway, guys, please comment below. Tell us what you think.
Don't forget to like
Subscribe.
and share.
Excuse me.
Deuces.
Deuces.